everybody, it's Ash3, and I'll do my old intro. You're watching my face. I haven't said that in a while. It's kind of my super old intro, and I wanted to post this video because I thought it was kind of more important than the other content that I had planned to post soon. So I'm making and editing this video before all the other stuff that I'm supposed to do, so I'm sorry the Q&A that I posted like a while back will be coming out eventually. It's taking me a little bit longer to edit and film because I needed to redo it. All sorts of stuff. But anyways, something has really been, I guess, bothering me lately with everything with voice acting. For those of you who don't know, I am a voice actress and I have been really progressing in this online voice acting, I guess you could call it some sort of career or hobby. And there are just some things that I have noticed as a creator and a voice actress that bothers me a lot, that I think it's an injustice to the creator and the voice actor. So there are just a few things that I think should be common creator and voice actor courtesy, because I can't sometimes, because sometimes I want to participate in projects that I love, but they stress me out because the creator doesn't know the proper courtesy, or the other cast doesn't know the proper courtesy to treat the other cast, and it kind of really bothers me. So if you are a creator that's hired me, or if I'm the creator and I've hired you, just know that these are things that I'm going to try to do, and that if I'm in your project, I'm not saying that you don't do all these things, but it's just something that, as the many projects I'm in general, that I would like to either congratulate people for keeping the courtesy of, or encourage them to try a little bit harder to do better on these things. I'm not trying to point anything or any projects in particular out here. That is not the aim of this video. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with creator courtesy, because to have good voice acting courtesy, the creator has to put their best foot forward. So when you're making a project, these are some things that I think should be included. I have a piece of paper here. I'm going to be reading off of it, so I apologize if I'm not looking. But anyways, when you're making a project as a creator, these are things that you need to make sure that you include, that voice actors or actresses like me will be looking for. So you need to have a description of the project in as much detail as possible. I know that some creators like to keep parts of their project secret, but if there are things that you can reveal, please do reveal them. It's a lot easier for us to get into character in some ways. Have a description, possible picture, and possible example of the voice that you're kind of looking for. I love it when people make a voice reference to maybe a voice actress or a cartoon character that they think this character would sound similar to. It helps me with the kind of tone and the kind of accent or impediment or whatever the character needs, what I'm supposed to be going for, because sometimes when it's just a, say, middle school shy young girl, well, there's a lot of tones for young girls that I could do. So if you give me an example, or maybe say medium to high range, or shy girl with a medium to low range, that can help me with my voice more, and that can help you as an creator be able to pick out which people are paying attention to your details and which voice you like the best. Make sure that if your project has cursing or mature content or topics that are kind of in the gray of the black and whites of what is acceptable and not acceptable, make sure that those things are on the description of the project, because some voice actors or actresses like myself are able to voice act for mature content or are able to say certain things because of your situation. And that's not because we necessarily don't like the project, it's that because we just literally can't speak these things maybe in a certain household or a certain situation, if that makes sense. Note when certain characters yell or cry a lot. For example, I have characters that are generally just speaking, but if there was a character that yelled a lot, I might be more hesitant to do that character because not of my ability, but because of my microphone. Sometimes voice actors have the capability, but they don't have the technological knowledge or technology to do so, to have roles that scream and cry a lot and make it sound good to where they think it's good enough to post on the internet. So I think that that's just something that would be nice, not necessarily you need to say this character screams in this many episodes, not necessarily, but if you know that this character will be screaming or crying a lot than any usual situation, then that might be something important to note. Also, any other things that you expect of the voice actor playing that certain role, if there's anything specifically that you have to have that's not already in the description. And then the two other things that it bothers me so much, and there's barely anyone who does it anymore, and it's just like, this would be such great information to know. First, I will save my almost rant for the last reason, but please list any benefits that the project will bring, because not only is it nice to know that our work isn't going to just a project that only we are going to enjoy, but what platforms you're going to be posting it on, what kind of people are going to be seeing it. If you are in contact or going to be showing this to any official companies that might want to work with us, that would be amazing to know. Especially if it's a paid project, please list the correct prices and not somewhere from, well, I can pay in between this much and this month. Just please tell us exactly what you are willing to pay, because myself, from my own personal experience, I hate having to go through payments and be like, well, this is how much I think I deserve, because as a voice actor and knowing my own skill and being my biggest critic, I don't think I deserve much. But for you, if I'm able to do things that no one else can do, then I am more deserving of the profit that I'm being given. So please, please, please list the benefits, because not only does it help us, but it encourages people to audition, because they know that they're not doing it just for their enjoyment. They're doing it for other people. They're doing it for opportunities, and that's really, really amazing. I'm sorry I'm using my hands a lot in this video. It happens when I talk about things I'm passionate about. So yeah, and then the last thing that you need to include when you create a project is the time frame of when lines will need to be turned in. Not of how much, episodes will come out monthly or weekly or daily. No, how much time we have to turn in our lines. Because if that is not stated, I myself, from personal experience, I'm going to assume that however long, say for example, it's a month. This project is a monthly thing. Maybe it's an audiobook, maybe it's a video, maybe it's whatever. It comes out every month on a certain day. As a voice actor, if you don't tell me that I have 2 weeks or 1 week or 3 days, I'm going to assume that I have at least half that month. I cannot stress enough how much this bothers me. It has, because not only does it affect me, but it affects the project as a whole. If you're wanting to have this certain schedule and you're expecting me to follow it, I need to know what you expect of me so that you can do what you expect of yourself. Because if not, that creates this tension between the creator and the voice actor, even though they have no reason to be mad at each other. It happens because they're not getting in things in the time frame that you were expecting, which makes things so complicated. So my personal opinion on this is that if you have a project that comes out every month, the voice actor should have at least half of the month to turn in their lines. Because voice actors, unless that this is their job, that they do this every day for at least 2 hours, then they should have more than 3 days. If you're giving a voice actor anything less than 3 days, I find that extremely, extremely unfair, because life happens, especially for my situation. I'm a voice actress. That is what I want to be for the rest of my life. But right now, I'm a student, and I have to put my best foot forward for my school, my education, and my health so that when I graduate, I can make this into my career. But if I'm stressing myself out about it when I have my studies, it's not helping anyone. And it just drives me so crazy. So please, creators, please, if you have an existing project or you're making a project, make sure you decide that time frame which you want your lines turned in before. Because if someone gets involved in a project and they think that it comes out every month and they think, I have half a month, and you give them 3 days and this is a week that they thought that they didn't have to turn them in for another week, then they can plan things and they cannot set their schedule around it, and it makes things extremely difficult and tense between the creator and the actor, and that is just not good for the project or for anyone else in the cast. So please do that. It has been bothering me to the core, because not only has it happened to me numerous times recently, it has happened to friends of mine who are younger than I am, which means their studies are even more important and more crucial, and the things that they do outside the internet are so important, but they feel like they can't escape. So, this video is going to turn into a lot longer than I wanted just because of that little thing, but I felt like it really needs to be said. So anyways, please, when you make a project, try to include all those things. I will have the list that I have written down on this paper written in the description if you don't want to listen to my rant the whole time. I get you, fam. Just please, if you would like to follow my advice, I feel like I would be able to help. If you're a new creator, if you follow these things, it will make it a lot easier for you. Okay, so once you're a creator and you've picked all of your cast members and you've contacted them and you're good to go, you're ready to start. Once you have a cast, you still need to upkeep certain things. Professionalism and respect in the workplace. Now, a lot of times casts get really close in their friendships, and you can become really good friends with the creator of the project that you're in, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to work, no matter how close you grow through this project, if you hired them or casted them at some point, that means that you still need to have respect of their job or their hobby, which they are doing for you. Whether they're paid or not, you need to have respect for someone if they have respect for you. I'll get to that a moment when I go through the voice acting courtesies. But as a creator, make sure that even though if you do become great friends, please still keep some level of respect in the workplace when you're asking for lines or when you're asking for a collab or something like that. That way, you're not taking advantage of that person and they don't feel like you're just using them for their friendship and their talents and not for whatever reasons. It's just better that way. Make a note to where actors can input their opinions for the project, because say maybe you had an audiobook and there's a chapter that you wrote about a specific time in your life that someone else is acting out and you want it to be acted out exactly like this. But the actor has an opinion that it should be acted out a different way. You need to make a note of when actors can and cannot change the words and the scripts and the lines that they're given, because sometimes as I go through scripts, I see grammatical errors, or I see something that I maybe think could be improved by just tweaking it a little bit. But if the creator does not want it tweaked at all, that is okay to tell the actors no. But if you do want their input, make that known, because some actors are afraid to put their input because they don't want to be offensive. So you need to make note of where you are okay with things being changed or tweaked or had opinions on to make the project in general better. Always creators have a way to be directly contacted for problems, issues, or late lines, because if the only thing that you have with someone, say, is a group chat, or I don't want to say email because email still counts, but if you can give them a direct way to contact you, maybe it's through Skype or Discord or some other messaging device, maybe still even email if you check your emails that often. Make sure that you have a way for them to contact you if there's a problem with another cast member, if there's a problem going on, they have to drop out of the role, or if their lines are going to be a little late. Because if you don't know and they tell you in advance and you expect them to have their lines in and they don't, even though they told you, then again, that creates that kind of tension. So make sure that you have a way to be directly contacted, that you check at least every 2 days. If something happens for your real life or to the project, say you've made this project, you've edited it, and you rendered it, and it has lots of black spots, and you have to re-render it, and that makes it late. Just tell your cast, because sometimes the cast expects things, and when they don't happen, they get confused as to why, and being a part of the crew makes you wonder if you did something wrong. So if there's a problem, be honest with your cast, be honest with your crew. Just say, guys, this has been happening and, it's not going to be out on time, or I'm going to have to delay the project for a while. Because if you're not, that again creates tension, and it creates kind of this odd feeling about the project in general, even if it does continue or if things get better. If you're not honest in the first place, it kind of creates this distrust. Try to be flexible, but still do what you feel is best for your project. This is kind of where it gets difficult with a cast, because you can have the most amazing cast, say they're all terrific voice actors, but none of them can turn in their lines on time, and you're very schedule-oriented. If you want what's best for your project in quality terms, then you wait. If you want that schedule more than you want the quality, recast. Sometimes this can hurt people's feelings, especially if the respect and professionalism in the relationship is not respected. But if it is, and if you say that, I like you guys are all great, but my project comes first, the cast has to understand that. If they get recast for whatever reason, they've got to be okay with that. So do what's right for your project and make sure that you have your priorities for what you want, because say a voice actor gets sick when they're trying to turn in lines and they can't do them. If you're not worried about schedule, then it's fine. Turn them in when you can. If you are, make sure you have replacements and things like that. It just makes it a lot easier and a lot less stressful. So in terms of creator courtesy, that's kind of all I had to say that I think would help creators and actors work as a team, because teamwork is the whole point of projects and crews and casts, because that's literally what it's all about. But it doesn't all come from just the creator's end, because if the creator's putting their best foot forward and they're getting half-done voice acting and not very respectful people, then again, this also causes problems. So now I'm going to be talking about voice actors' courtesy towards creators in the project. I'm sorry this video is long. It's just gonna kind of have to be wrong. Again, if you don't want to listen to this, list will be in the description. I don't really care if you listen to my opinions, but please just, if you are watching this video to know what to do, please go read it. It is very important. Please. It will help you a lot, I promise. So voice acting courtesy. Voice actors are cast by auditioning, and auditioning is your first impression, which means it's a lot. It's just like when you meet someone in real life, their first impression of you is extremely important. So when you're going to audition for a project, these are things that you need to make sure that you're upkeeping and that you're looking for to stay safe, first of all, because some projects are not exactly what you expect them all to be, and so that you can have the respect and professionalism that you need for yourself and towards the creator and the project in itself. It's just a lot better. So the first thing when you are thinking about auditioning for a project is you have to keep in mind of your time and your other responsibilities outside voice acting. If voice acting is your career, then I don't see what projects you can and can't go for. But if you're a student like myself and you have other responsibilities, you need to realize that if you sign up for 25 roles and you're about to go into exam week for 4 weeks, may not be a good idea to audition for any more. Even if the project is so cool, maybe just save it for later and see if it's still open once you have time for it. But don't commit to something that you don't have the time or energy to do, because if you send in lines that aren't as good or as interesting when you first did them, then you're doing a disjustice to the project and to yourself, because that ruins your own rep because you're not showing your full potential and your full talent. So don't compare or attack or anything of that nature towards a creator or other actors. It's very, very easy to compare yourself to other actors. I do it all the time. Not necessarily meaning to, it kind of happens when you're an actor. But don't attack other actors or creators because you think that your opinion is better for the project, because in the end it isn't your project. You're just volunteering your time and talent to help with it. So just make sure that you keep that respect and, congratulate someone if they advance in the role and you don't. It's just kind of how life works. So it's just easier that way in general. When you audition, you have to realize that you agree to all of the listed rules, the time frame, everything. Everything that's listed, you are agreeing, saying, yes, I agree to do all of this because I am submitting an audition. So don't audition and expect the creator to change the rules or change things for you personally unless you ask beforehand. So maybe you're interested in this project, this voice actor has asked you to audition for it, but you don't necessarily think that you can make that time frame. If this person is more concerned about their quality and is willing to change their schedule for you, it's better to ask first and then audition instead of audition and then ask, because then that can upset the other people and they have to recast, they have to recontact, and it makes it a very messy procedure. So just when you audition, make sure that you know that you are full on agreeing to the plot and the rules of the project. And if you don't know something, ask. Like, please, if there is a character in this project that you adore and you think that you could play perfectly, but you don't know necessarily if you should have an accent or to not have an accent because it wasn't really specified or if it really matters at all, you have to ask to find out those things. And that's totally okay to ask. As a creator, if they're putting their project out there and wanting you to audition, then you have every right to ask. And if they don't answer you, then that's on their end. If they didn't see the question and they would have really liked you but didn't work out that way, then again, that's kind of just another way how life works. But as a voice actor, if maybe you don't necessarily agree with the time frame or you have a question about the character, it's your responsibility to ask again before you audition. It's too much. And don't be afraid to challenge yourself when you audition, but don't push yourself too far to the point you realize, well, I did this audition okay, but I'm never sure if I could do this again. Don't turn in your audition, because then you won't be able to do lines, and that's kind of embarrassing. So, if you are cast in a project and you feel on top of the world, what do you do then, other than just kind of wait? The waiting thing is probably really difficult after you get cast. It's the most difficult thing for me because I never know what I'm supposed to be doing. And it makes me really stressed and anxious for some reason, but it's kind of how it is. So once you're cast, please be respectful and patient, and again, keep up this professional and respectful relationship with the creator and the project and the other cast members. Don't try to rush people, especially if the project is just starting, because the first episode of anything is the hardest to do. It is. That's just the way it is. So just be prepared for that. Ask again. Be sure to ask if you don't know something, or if you need guidance, or if you want to do these scenes accompanied by someone else, then ask them. Don't be afraid. If you're putting this cast together, it's so that you can work together. You can have this amazing teamwork and this functionality where you can all function together to get one goal. So if you don't ask and you're sitting here needing guidance or needing help, then you're like the rusty wheel on the train. And it's kind of annoying to everyone else because you aren't going to your full potential because you're too afraid to say anything. And I know that can be hard for some more introverted and shy people, but know that coming into this is something that it will. You might not think it will because you're sitting behind a computer and everything's fine in your world, but it will push you out of your comfort zone a little bit if you are someone with a more shy personality. Respect your work and deadline set by the creator. This is something that's very controversial a lot of the times just because, you can ask for your deadline to be extended, but again, if it is stated in the project before that deadlines won't be extended or that you only have an extension of so many days, then you need to be respectful of that. And if you can't do something and you don't know if you will be able to accomplish it and what you signed up for, then you have to be honest and be like, hey, I signed up for this a while back, and now that it's starting up again, my schedule's changed and I'm not sure that I have time for it, because then that might lead you to having to be recasted or just some of the things rethought. So you need to be respectful of other people's work, your work, put the best you can into your work. Please, that is what got you cast in the first place. And be respectful of the deadlines. If you aren't going to make a deadline, just man up and say it. Because if you don't, then that causes a lot of more problems. And lastly, turn in your work realizing that you make mistakes, but just put it at the best quality you can at the time. Especially when you're starting out, this is hard because at first, you think either that you're really bad and then you start getting better and you think it's really good, and then a year later you look back and you think it's all terrible. And that's okay, because that's part of online voice acting, is that you go into it not knowing how to do a lot of things, and you do learn a lot from joining casts and watching more tutorials and stuff. So realize that you will make mistakes with your quality, you will make mistakes with your tone, you will make mistakes with your emotions, but you have to keep trying and you have to keep progressing in your audio and your quality until you feel that it is the best it can be ever. And that is a point that most people never even reach, which is why if you keep reaching for it, you're just going to get better and better. So please don't be afraid to do those things. So that is all I have. This video, again, like I said, I'm sorry it's long, but I just felt like these things really, 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 really needed to be said. Because I, as a voice actress, have been feeling a little, I don't know how to explain it, not really wishy-washy, but things that are important that I really valued about voice acting have just really been diminished and torn away from the roots of the creators and the projects, and I thought that that was something that needed to be respected and needed to be addressed. Because if not, then it takes away a whole lot of fun and enjoyment to my hobby, which I love voice acting, but recently it has gotten harder because I haven't been seeing a lot of these things being filled out, which makes it hard on me, and it makes it hard on me to be respectful of everything, and I want to be as respectful as I possibly can, so I just felt like it really needed to be said. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and say it so I actually do it, because people know about it and they'll be asking me. I am planning to open a voice acting community / school, not really school, but we'll be giving classes, in the end of February. I'm hoping sometime in February it will be able to get going. It will be me and a few other voice actors. We'll be making videos, tutorials, and we will be giving classes. Realize now that if you're watching this and you're excited and you're like, what? I didn't know this is happening. I'm so excited. I'm going to sign up for all the classes. Know that the tutorials and the basics of everything will be free. One-on-one classes will most likely be paid, and I'm very sorry. But I wasn't planning to make them paid, and then I realized that the people who have agreed to do the one-on-one classes have rough schedules, so we kind of need to make it worth their time. I will talk about all the things that you need to know when signing up and paying for these classes in another video, because this is not about that, but I just wanted to make the announcement. I do have plans to start a voice acting community and kind of classes, I guess, not really school, but kind of. It's still in development, so we're getting there, and I want to release it soon, so if you are interested in improving or starting voice acting, I would love to see you there in the comments or in the responses or just telling me about your experience with it in general. I would love that. So that's all I have for you guys this video. Thank God you guys are probably like, shut up, you've said enough. I know I've said enough, I've ranted enough, but oh, it felt good to get this off my chest, and I'm glad to be posting a video. I will be getting back to my originally planned content soon. I do not have a schedule. I've given up on a schedule. I post when things are ready so that they can be top quality for you guys. So anyway, that's all I have to say, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.